Hey everybody, how's it going? Slowrunner by Vtaramps has recently been given an update and I'm gonna check it out right now here with you guys. I've plugged this in, I've been playing it for about 5 minutes, but I thought let's see what it sounds like together because I've not fired this thing up for years at this point. And I know for a fact it's a great amp sim. It's one of Vadim's best for sure. It's obviously emulating an SLO 100. So let's just dive in and get some tones. I mean, right away, it's sounding fantastic. I've just tweaked a few things down here at the bottom to get it sounding the way I like. With Vadim's newer plugins, I say newer meaning the past few years, he's been adding a lot of switches and knobs. A lot of this stuff I'm not a huge fan of, but they do give you some cool, weird and wacky sounds, and they can get you a more realistic, real-world amp experience, like the PA drive, the dynamics, the fizz, tube dirt, like stuff like that just sort of tips it over the edge and gets it away from feeling like a static sounding sim. Because I know a lot of people complain about amp sims all the time. I'm not one of those people. I do like a simple amp sim, and most of the amp sims are here. I'm really happy with the sound, but you know, people coming from the tube amp world going into this stuff, there is obviously a bit of a curve, a bit of a hump they have to get over when it comes to the realism. And this stuff has been put on there for those people, if you ask me. So the chain, you've seen it a million times. Effective silencer is a gate. NA808 is a boost. Still my favorite boost, but there is something in the works which might knock this off the top spot. But, you know, watch this space. Subscribe. Slowrunner. Then I'm going into Pulse. I'm on Barefoot 1 at the moment. This is a vintage 30IR. And I'm going to check out some Miko 2 impulses I exported here and there. I've got like a handful here. I'll go through them in a bit. And this plugin it's fairly complicated, I'm not going to lie. It's got 2 channels and it's got crunch and clean on one of the channels. That's kind of a broken up clean. Then you can go like full clean. Vadim's amp sims are so versatile. You can get fantastic like glassy Fender cleans along with like ripping high gain, and it all sounds great. So I'm just gonna go back to the overdrive channel because that's where I live and what I like. At the start of the video, it was boosted by the NA808, but this is unboosted. I mean, it still sounds good. It's kind of boomy, but SLOs tend to sound pretty good, you know, without a boost. So I'll just crank the gain a bit harder. Yeah, for that 80s kind of stuff, it really works. It lends itself to that. But I'm just going to boost it because that's where I like to do. I've got my Harley Benson Amarok, all stock. It's got active EMGs in it. This is what I like about these plugins is Vtaramps. The dials actually do a lot. He puts a lot of work into his sim, so it's super scooped. You can do 90s and noughties tech death with that. And you can boost the mids and get your super tight proggy stuff. You know, I mean, it's just a wildly different sound just by cranking the mid knob. PA drive, you know, it just adds that power amp sort of coloration. And it adds a lot of output, so I'm not going to crank that. I usually like it quite low. It keeps things a bit tighter and less crazy. Got the output, the presence and the depth, they're pretty much off by default. Yeah, the Miko 2 stuff, there seems to be something going on with the lows where there's not as much low end, not as much as my IRs anyway, so what I would do is just like crank the depth. Pretty basic stuff. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys this, but you know, you don't have to go hunting around for the perfect IR. Sometimes tweaking the amp is the way to go, so just put the depth up on the amp. And that's just giving it a little bit more girth, and I really like that. This extra thick is of a Engel cab as far as I know. Chunky Chunks is between a Mesa and a Marshall cab. Yeah, it's just got that really vocal mid-range I really like. All this stuff at the top, you know, it's just sort of extra cherries on top of the cake, really. You can turn the preamp on or off. So if you just want a power amp, you can just load up this plugin and you've got an amazing, like, tweakable power amp with all of this stuff. Turn off the power amp if you like. So it's just the preamp. Vex loop on or off. That's interesting. Brownness, this sort of adds a bit of a wild character to it. I really like that. That sounds great. I'll just turn the noise gate off. That is not half as noisy as some of Vadim's other sims. Like his 14 sims are quite noisy, but apparently in the real life, 14 amps are quite noisy. We've got fuzziness, which I remember gives you a very gnarly tone. That's just a broken amp. That's what it sounds like to me. I'll just unboost it for a second, turn the gate off too. Vex loop drive. I mean, this is like real deep dive modeling, you know, here, this stuff. Fizz is basically fizz. Dynamic. I mean, all of this stuff, you can just turn it off and you'll still get a fantastic, you know, AmSim experience, really. So that's about it, guys. I just wanted to check out Slowrunner. The update is fantastic. It sounds fantastic. Vtaramps, some of the best paid and free sims out there. Links below, guys. Go check out Slowrunner for yourselves. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see more metal related stuff. I'll be back sometime with a video on something else. So until then, ciao.